Hey everyone, my name is Chris Margette and welcome to my YouTube assignment. For those of you who might not know, I'm a sophomore here at Sam Houston State University and my intended major is marketing. If any of you have seen my website, then you may have noticed that I included some of my favorite marketing campaigns on it. For this video I decided that I'm going to talk about what makes a good marketing campaign, as well as further elaborate on some of my favorite marketing campaigns and talk about some marketing campaigns that completely failed. First, let's talk about what a marketing campaign is. The definition of a marketing campaign is a promotion of a product through different mediums such as television, radio, print, online, and social media, using a variety of different types of advertisements. And the main goal of a marketing campaign is to get the product out there so people see it, and hopefully this will result in increased profits for the company, although this is not always the case. Alright, so what I'm going to talk about now are the 3 tips for a good marketing campaign. Number 1 is know your audience and keep the content relevant. Pretty much make sure nothing offends the audience, and try to make sure advertisements relate to the product. A lot of commercials nowadays will have some random kind of commercial that does not relate to the product, and you will have no idea what it is, and then at the very end they'll have the logo of whatever company it is, and it's kind of confusing and they're not really that effective. Number 2 is have a consistent look, meaning make sure that people can easily identify your brand. If you have a commercial or ad, people should be able to identify that product within a couple of seconds. And number 3 is follow the 3 C's, which are communication must be number 1 clear, number 2 compelling, and number 3 consistent. And what this means is that your ads must be understandable to your audience. It is important to avoid awkward wording that confuses the message on the ad. I'll talk about this later in the video on a sample ad of a marketing fail. Advertisements must be compelling so that they are memorable and not easily forgotten by target audiences. And lastly, your ads need to be consistent. This means you keep up with your advertising rather than just putting out one commercial and expecting it to work for you. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about some of my favorite ad campaigns that were very effective. The Nike Just Do It campaign is one of my favorites of all time, and this slogan was thought of in 1988. At the time, Nike was the number 2 distributor of shoes in North America behind Reebok, and Reebok decided to focus their advertisements on the aerobics craze that was sweeping the nation. So Nike had the genius idea to go against the grain and focus their advertising campaign for the masses. Just Do It is a great slogan because it works for just about anything you're doing, whether it's school or working out. You know, if you're tired and you don't want to work out, just do it. If you have homework or a project like this and you keep putting it off, you know, just do it. This is by far my favorite campaign, and it provided huge successes for Nike because after this ad came out, they jumped to number 1 in sales, not just in America, but in the world, and they've stayed there ever since. People use marketing campaigns to promote a wide range of products, from razors to fast food companies to movies and even CDs. People in the music industry are starting to abandon the traditional marketing campaign of advertising for the release of a CD, and instead are opting to surprise release a CD on iTunes and other vendors. An example of this technique was used at the beginning of this year by Drake. His album was surprise released via iTunes with no prior advertising. It just showed up on iTunes one morning, and this technique helped create a lot of buzz about the album, and it was a very effective marketing campaign because it was able to push 495,000 units in just the first 3 days. Alright, so the next ad I'm going to talk about is for Miller Lite. Miller Lite was introduced in 1973 and is considered to be the first light beer. Miller had to think of a marketing campaign that would appeal to the citizens of the United States because at the time many people were skeptical towards light beer. They believed that it wouldn't taste as good as regular beer. So Miller Lite used a series of funny advertisements that featured professional athletes to promote their beer, as well as the slogan, "Great taste, less filling." This specific photo that I used features Bubba Smith, showing how he likes the easy opening of the can, and as you can see from the picture, he's tearing it in half. Again, this marketing campaign proved to be very successful for the company, and it is number 8 on the Advertising Age's list of best marketing campaigns of all time. The next advertisement is for Dos Equis beer, and more specifically, the ad is called "The Most Interesting Man in the World." This is another beer campaign, and this one is one of my favorites, and it's very popular around the United States. This ad was first introduced in 2006 by Dos Equis, and they thought outside the box on this one. Rather than promoting the taste or the quality of Dos Equis beer, the commercial chose to focus on the adventures of the most interesting man in the world. An example of one of the ads is when he finds a fountain of youth, but he doesn't drink from it. These commercials were often spoofed by many people and gained popularity around the world. It had tremendous success for the beer company and increased revenue in the United States by 22% at a time where other imported beers fell by 4%. These next couple ads I'm going to talk about are example of marketing fails. Normally any type of publicity is good for a company, but for these next 2 companies I'm going to talk about, it had a negative effect for them. The first one is for PlayStation. PlayStation decided to promote their new white PlayStation Portable on billboards in the Netherlands. This specific ad features a white woman forcibly grabbing the face of a black woman with the words, "PlayStation Portable White is coming," written on it. And this ad was supposed to symbolize the older black color of the PlayStation Portable versus the new white color, but instead the ad received harsh backlash from people saying that it was racially charged, and thus the billboards were taken down immediately. This marketing fail right here is from McDonald's. McDonald's tried to use social media to help promote their brand. On Twitter, McDonald's paid to have the hashtag McDStories promoted on the site in order for customers to talk about some of the positive experience they had at the restaurants. And as you can see from the photo, this marketing technique blew up in their face, with many people taking the opportunity to talk about how gross McDonald's was and pretty much bash it. McDonald's ended up pulling the plug on the campaign after just 2 hours. And as you can see from the sample ads that I provided, it's very important to have a good marketing campaign, and if you're not careful and do not have a good idea, these things can really take a turn for the worst. Alright, that's my presentation for my YouTube assignment. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thank you very much.